Make it facing in the right direction. Into the gravel goes Dave Porter, having spun Jeff Evans. Well, maybe they will make it to the line after all. There is your top three, though. Jamie Campbell-Walter, Phil Hindley second, Martin Short in third. And then McKellar, Jordan and Kane, the top six. McKellar still the series leader. Round 4 of the TVR Tuscan Challenge at Alton Park, and 3 races make up the programme. This is the first of a pair of qualifying heats. On pole position after practice, Ian McKellar in the number 96 machine, and alongside him, number 88, the green car, is Martin Short. Starting in third position with the car repaired after problems in practice, this is car number 6, Steve Guglielmi. And 17 cars on the grid, the other half of the field waiting to go in their qualifying race. But problems for Steve Cole. He's got a broken throttle cable, and in the run-up to the start of the race, the team trying desperately to fix it. Well, without Steve Cole on the grid, ready to go, our onboard camera with Martin Short. Oh dear, nearly loses the engine as he gets away, but does get away very well indeed in the end. Heading Ian McKellar into Oulton the first time as they stream down the avenue. Nice sedate name, anything but a sedate piece of racetrack. And already McKellar monstering the back of Martin Short, but Short has the inside line as they turn left out of Cascades and onto Lakeside. McKellar right with the race leader, though. They'll be very close together here, and McKellar looking to make a move already, and he has done. On sheer speed, goes round the outside of Martin Short into Island Bend. That's a very brave move indeed. McKellar from pole position, reinstating himself out front. Martin Short in second, and the new bodywork in primer on the front of Steve Guglielmi's car, very different from his regular colours. So we'll have to look for that flat beige coloured nose in third place. He leads the rest of the field, chasing him over the brow as they come down towards the Knickerbrook chicane. In fourth place is Tim Hood, fifth is Grant Tromans, and sixth place Ian Flux. There, the next little triumvirate coming towards us. There is Hood, and there is Flux in sixth position. Coming out of the pits then, finally, Steve Cole as the leaders coming up towards the completion of lap 1, and Tim Hood goes flying past Steve Guglielmi. Guglielmi with his hand out of the cockpit, and he's got mechanical problems, no question about it. Guglielmi retiring from the race before even completing the first lap. The race is on though. Victory here could give one of those two drivers, Ian McKellar or Martin Short, pole position for the main race. Whichever heat is quicker, the winner of it will take pole. Battle as Ian Flux puts in the move on Grant Tromans. On the run down to Fulston's, not an awful lot of space to accelerate and pass. Steve Cole doesn't sound too healthy, does it? The engine just idling as he ticks along, trying desperately to stay out of the way. Everybody approaching Steve Cole very quickly indeed from behind. Let's hope they all see him. McKellar leads though, Martin Short in second place. This is just 6 laps, a real short sprint. Can't really be wasting time, you have to take all the chances. In third place now, riding with Tim Hood. Into Druids, there's Hood. Ian Flux right behind him, then Grant Tromans. Rest of the field coming through. Giles Cooper chasing, trying to pick up places. Every position you can make up in this race is another row forward on the grid. Streaming over the start-finish line, pit board's really fairly redundant here. Most of these drivers can count to 6 and keep their eye on the road at the same time. Ian Flux now up into third. He's past Tim Hood. Hood down to fourth, ahead of Grant Tromans, Justin Cadman, that man Mike Jordan. And then Matt Doman chasing him with Giles Cooper in hot pursuit. That is the main field here. White flags are out at the marshal's post, meaning there is a slow-moving car on the circuit. That'll be Steve Cole, I'm sure. Martin Short looks down the inside and doesn't quite get the move put away at Shell Oils. Riding with Tim Hood, Ian Flux ahead of us. Hood right on the inside as they exit Shell Oils. Short burst up to Fulston's here, turning right all the way. The leader's already over Hilltop and powering down towards Knickerbrook. Martin Short making his car look very big in the mirrors. Down to Knickerbrook we come. Tim Hood on the inside, Flux on the outside. Flux points and waves. Through you go, through you go. And get on with it as well. Flux running out of room to turn in there, doing the gentlemanly thing, conceding the corner when he knew it was lost. Unfortunately, Tim Hood not quite seeing the message there and outbraking him all the same. Flux having trouble turning in. Ian Flux, this is a real bogey circuit for him, has wrecked his car earlier in the year here. Failed to finish a race at Alton Park, in fact, in over 3 years, so we'll be certainly hoping to stay on the track till the end of this one. The race leaders coming towards us, though. Ian McKellar and Martin Short, and time running out for Martin Short. Just the last couple of laps to try and put a move to bed. If he can't take pole, the least he can do is make this the quicker of the 2 qualifying heats by really pushing Ian McKellar hard. The quicker these 2 guys drive, the further up the grid they'll go. Mike Jordan piling on the pressure now. Justin Cadman, the yellow machine, ahead of him. Then Matt Doman and Giles Cooper. Jordan really looking to make a move. Beautiful bank holiday weather at Alton Park. Big crowds and plenty of excitement. Excitement on the edge of the seats now as Martin Short just tiptoes through on the inside of Ian McKellar. Both men right on the limit. Short gets the power down nicely, manages to stay ahead out of the chicane. Tim Hood ahead of Ian Flux. Look at that, right with them now is Grant Tromans, the 19 machine. All 3 of them, that's 3rd, 4th and 5th together. 1st and 2nd very close together as Martin Short makes a mistake going into Druids. Locks up the brakes, just manages to keep ahead, but yes, he's pointing to the inside because he knows that Ian McKellar has got better speed out of the corner and he can't hold him off. So McKellar back into the lead. Flux outwitted him into the Knickerbrook chicane and then outwitted himself into Druids, just pushing that fraction too hard. Here is 3rd, 4th, 3rd and 4th together. Ian Flux making a move across the line. Tim Hood will try and push over towards the pit wall if he can and deny Flux a good turn into the corner. It's very tight indeed. He's sliding on the exit, but Tim Hood holds on to 3rd place, getting very squirrely there in Old Hall. Down the hill into Cascades. And he manages to keep Flux at bay. So in 3rd place with Tim Hood. And the camera's picking up. Oh dear, Justin Cadman spinning out of 6th position under pressure from Mike Jordan. So Jordan goes up to 6th. Steve Cole, meanwhile, engine still not working at all. Trickling along past the pits. Hello, Mum. Not much else to do, has he? Trying desperately to stay out of the way now. He really will need to while the leaders are coming up at the end of this race. There is Ian Flux, still chasing Hood and Tromans, 3rd, 4th and 5th. 6th place Mike Jordan looking to close onto the tail of them. Martin Short in 2nd. Already Ian McKellar has disappeared. Ian Flux hoping to make a move here. Good line out of Druids, chasing Grant Tromans. But he won't want to do anything silly in the final corner. Ian McKellar comes to the line, takes the checkered flag, wins the 1st of the qualifying races. 2nd place, Martin Short. 3rd, 4th and 5th, Tim Hood, Grant Tromans, Ian Flux. Quick as you like across the line, Mike Jordan in 6th place, ahead of Matt Damon and Giles Cooper. Star driver so far, says Martin Short about Tim Hood in the middle of the picture there. 3rd place for him. Good result. 17 cars on the grid for the 2nd heat of the qualifying races, and front row men into the 1st corner. Phil Hindley leading Steve Sutcliffe. Steve Hyde trying to go around the outside, but Michael Caine more successful with his run down the inside, slotting into 3rd behind Hindley, the number 1 machine, and the green 27 car of Steve Sutcliffe. And it was those 3 that battled for the lead all the way through. Caine initially behind, but at the end making it a blanket finish, covered just by 0.3 of a second, roughly the length of 1.5 TVRs for the 3 cars across the line. Closer result, Hindley the winner from Sutcliffe and Caine, Hyde, Dunlop and Ashley Ward in 6th. Field assembling for the main race in round 4 of the TVR Tuscan Challenge at Alton Park, but without one of the leading lights. Jamie Campbell-Walter had crashed heavily in practice, his car spinning, exiting Deer Leap and hitting the end of the pit wall side on. Jamie Campbell-Walter hospitalised with concussion, but otherwise okay. Ready to go at the start, and Martin Short, another demon getaway. He seems to really have the knack of this, going around the outside of Phil Hindley, can't quite pull it off. Ian McKellar leads then. Hindley 2nd, Short 3rd, Sutcliffe in 4th, Michael Caine in 5th place as they head down the hill for the first time. And going off onto the grass looks like Giles Cooper, a long way off there. Julian Locke chasing down the hill behind the number 55 car of Justin Cadman. And Locke substituting for Simon Harris, the regular incumbent there. Harris had to rush home with a family crisis, and in true racing spirit, Julian Locke, one of the team members, substituting as driver for the race. Well, he'll be in the deep end, no mistake about it, but Ian McKellar leading them out of Shell Oils for the first time up to Fulstons. There is Ian Flux. Mention his bogey here, and at least he has managed to go further than Giles Cooper. Cooper off on the grass and parked at the bottom of the hill. McKellar leading then from Hindley, Short, Sutcliffe, Kane, Tim Hood, third in his qualifying heat. And out to the cockpit on the left-hand side, Ashley Ward. Just a couple of spots behind him, the red tail to the car there is Ashley Ward's. He's been hit by somebody. And looks like he's pulling off into the pits to try and get the rear bodywork pulled off the tyre. McKellar leads then, Hindley second, Short, Sutcliffe and Kane, 5-car breakaway. They're being chased down by Tim Hood. Yellow, black and white machine in 6th place. Don't worry about the scraping noises there, it's just the car bottoming out in the tight Shell Oils corner. Through Island we go with Julian Locke. And he is in the middle of the picture there, the number 45 machine. Ed Sharp right behind him, hoping to take advantage perhaps of Julian's lack of race experience in these machines. No lack of race experience up front though. Mike Jordan monstering behind the yellow, black and white car of Tim Hood. Headlights ablaze, a little bit of trichology going on there to try and make his car look wider than it normally is. The eye will always pick up a bright light. Julian Locke just getting the chicane all wrong there, going into the tyres at Knickerbrook. Trying to find some traction on the grass. Slick tyres don't really like grass. And back onto the circuit he goes. Lost a handful of places there and some more besides. Here's Ed Sharp, the orange car, with Richard Stanton right behind him. They were the queue that were following behind Julian Locke. Number 8 there, Peter Wheeler, the chairman of TVR. And PR man Ben Samuelson also in the field. Replay of that incident, Locke ahead. And Ed Sharp gets down the inside. Turns in, all over the curbs, and well, that's a classic racing incident, both of them getting tangled up, and Julian Locke unfortunately left with no track ahead of him and just a stack of tyres, losing about 8 places. Mike Jordan versus Tim Hood out of Druids. Oh, this is brave stuff. Side by side through Druids, no thanks, not me. Glad we're only riding along with them rather than having to do the steering. Tim Hood on the brakes as somebody else goes down the inside as well. In fact, he loses a couple of places there. Ian Flux goes through, and so does Steve Hyde. So Tim Hood losing 3 places there. Jordan levered him off the racing line, and the other 2 followed through. McKellar, Hindley, Short, Sutcliffe under pressure from Kane, looking down the inside into Cascades. He stays there as well. Great move by Michael Kane, hanging on the inside, forcing Steve Sutcliffe wide. Now he's got the inside line at Island. And yes, Sutcliffe has to give best there because he knows that there'll be no room on the outside, but that is not over yet. Michael Kane up to 4th, but I don't think that Steve Sutcliffe will let that one lie for too long. Sutcliffe really impressive over the last couple of seasons, his ability to adapt to these cars and get quicker and quicker and quicker. Riding with Tim Hood then, chasing Ian Flux and Steve Hyde. Tim Hood now down to 9th place. Cameras pan back to Ireland, and that's Ben Samuelson getting tangled up down the inside of Richard Stanton. Looks as though Ben has missed a gear or 2, crawling out of the corner with his hand up. That may be the end of his race. And cameras pan round with a yellow car. And who is that? Justin Cadman, I think, the 55 machine when the dust settles. It is indeed, so he's gone off exiting Druids. So he goes out as well. Martin Short under pressure from Michael Kane. Well, Kane has managed to shake off Sutcliffe. What can he do now about 3rd place man Short? Short ran really strongly in his qualifying race, running Ian McKellar all the way to the line, but Kane goes around the outside, takes the position into Island. Just simply drove around the outside of Martin Short there. Good move from him. Battles all the way down through the field. Peter Wheeler still going, even though his PR man isn't. Riding again with Julian Locke, and ooh, can we avoid it? Yes, we do. avoids the spinning Terry Pudwell, and Pudwell should manage to get the lock on and avoid the stationary number 55 car of Justin Cadman. Okay, trying to find some grip on those big broad slicks on the grass. Michael Caine is really looking impressive here, isn't he? He's now challenging for second place. Phil Hindley under pressure, getting squirrely out of the chicane, trying to get the power on before he's even halfway through to the apex of the second part of Knickerbrook. Over the hill they go towards Druids. The checkered flag awaits Ian McKellar, surely. But what will be the outcome of the battle for second? Hindley leads Caine, Short, Jordan and Sutcliffe, and Mike Jordan, oh dear, having a vicious weave there as going down the inside. Michael Caine is fended off by Phil Hindley, just holds him off. The reigning champion driving very well indeed, just to take second place at the line by 0.2 of a second. Fantastic result. Ian McKellar the victor then, and still the championship points leader. The brooding skies above Croft in North Yorkshire, awaiting the start of the first qualifying race for round 4 of the TVR Tuscan Challenge. Michael Caine on pole from Phil Hindley, Troy Dunlop and Steve Sutcliffe. Away they go, a good start around the outside. The green car of Sutcliffe away from the camera. He goes around Phil Hindley, the reigning champion, and into second place, right up behind Michael Caine. Very close indeed behind Michael Caine, in fact, nearly touching him, but a very good start indeed from Steve Sutcliffe, the former journalist, who's really made a name for himself in these TVR Tuscans. 18 cars in the field. There is the chairman of the company, Peter Wheeler. Very spiffy new paint scheme on his machine. Riding with Ian Ashley. And Ashley being passed at Tower as he gets the wrong gear. Finally picks up the right gear and gets away again up to speed. There is Michael Caine. Steve Sutcliffe right behind him. The green machine makes a lunge down the inside. No room for him to go through, and that may be trouble for Sutcliffe because Phil Hindley right behind him might out-accelerate him up the straight. Sutcliffe holds on to second place though. Number 1 Hindley getting his nose down the inside as they go into Clervaux, the first corner, and he does take second place away through the left-right flick through Hawthorne Bend, and then the long left-hander around to the chicane. Number 5 there, Colin Blower. He's on the tail of this lead group, riding with Nigel Tustin into the S-bend, right behind the number 30 car of Jeff Evans. Oh, he's hit him right up the back. And, oh, goes down inside 57. Heinz Schumann as well. But no problems at all for Michael Caine. For the ex-Caterham champion, this was a lights to flag victory. Victory for Caine then from Hindley, Sutcliffe, Troy Dunlop in 4th ahead of John Kent and Colin Blower. Before the second qualifying heat of the 5th round of the TVR Tuscan Challenge at Croft, Tom Combrink in trouble in the number 69 machine. Marshall's get him restarted, but it looks like he's lost drive. Steve Guglielmi on pole. Martin Short gets a great start from the second row of the grid, and around the outside goes Ian McKellar as well, the 96 car. Jamie Campbell-Walter, the black machine, alongside Guglielmi. Guglielmi's white car holds on to second place. And a little bit of pushing and shoving going on as everybody tries to filter through the first couple of corners, through the chicane and onto the back straight, the old pit straight. Martin Short leads, Steve Guglielmi second, Ian McKellar in 3rd, Jamie Campbell-Walter, then Mike Jordan, Ian Flux, they're the top half dozen. And still battles going on all the way down the order. Ed Sharp around the outside of Richard Finney's car there. Didn't quite manage to pull the move off. Well, Martin Short may only have started on the second row of the grid, but he made sure that he was up front early on. When Guglielmi faltered away from the line, Short really pounced and took the early lead. On board with TVR PR man Ben Samuelson, getting past there by 36 Richard Finney. Here is Guglielmi. The checkered flag nose of Ian McKellar right behind him. That's 2nd and 3rd place. Martin Short leading in the all-green machine. Jamie Campbell-Walter's black car fourth from Jordan and Flux. Then there's Giles Cooper's yellow machine. Then Tim Hood, 45 is Julian Locke. He's got Grant Tromans and Steve Cole right behind him. Martin Short out of harm's way though, just a couple of car lengths clear of the rest. 77 is Mike Jordan. And now with Ben Samuelson going past Ed Sharp's orange machine. Good move by Ben. Picks up the spot. Ben obviously wanting to write about himself favourably in the press releases, so thought he'd better do a good job behind the steering wheel as well as the keyboards. Jamie Campbell-Walter fourth, under pressure now from Mike Jordan. And Ben Samuelson now under pressure himself from the orange car of Ed Sharp. And Mike Jordan goes down the inside, or does he? No, he doesn't. Tries to make the move at Sunny, and Jamie Campbell-Walter just deep enough on the brakes to be able to hold him off. Martin Short again safe from attack in this later stage of the lap. Not the case though for Steve Guglielmi. He's got 96, Ian McKellar right behind, and so as a result has to compromise his racing line a little. Jamie Campbell-Walter with Mike Jordan right on his tail as well. Martin Short, race leader, under attack, and literally under attack. Steve Guglielmi hits him as he tries to pass under braking for Tower. He gets the lead and into second place. That's an opportunist move by Ian McKellar as we look back from the new race leader, Steve Guglielmi. Martin Short's in third. Any long-term damage? Well, unless the bonnet flies off, Steve Guglielmi looks like he might be okay. But Martin Short, whether that was him braking unexpectedly early or Guglielmi braking unexpectedly and possibly just slightly uncontrollably late, hard to tell. Certainly Guglielmi would not have intentionally rubbed the nose of his car off the back of the race leader in a passing manoeuvre. Martin Short, as you can see behind, under pressure from Jamie Campbell-Walter at the end of the lap here. Campbell-Walter with his lights ablaze on the all-black car as Steve Guglielmi leads them across the line. Smoke pouring off the left front tyre. It's rubbing on the displaced body, the nose of the car rubbing on the tyre. But unless the tyre actually runs it over and rips it off, I don't think that will be too much of a problem. Action further back. David Porter, the number 50 machine, holding off Richard Finney, number 36. Tyre smoke pouring off race leader Steve Guglielmi's car as he battles at Tower to hold on to the lead from Ian McKellar in second place. Well, that's where Guglielmi took the lead from Martin Short, who's now in third. Short with Jamie Campbell-Walter and Mike Jordan right behind him. And there they are. And the race being led by what looks like a very unhealthy TVR. It's certainly going quickly enough at the moment, though. So it can't be in that bad shape, even though the nose is looking fairly second-hand. Big puff of smoke as he locks the front wheel going into the S's from the race leader. But Steve Guglielmi staying out front in the HR Owen car. Ian McKellar in second. Martin Short still in third. And Short now with breathing space ahead of Jamie Campbell-Walter and Mike Jordan. Quite a lot of it, actually. Where have they gone? Jamie Campbell-Walter is right behind. There's Jordan, there's Campbell-Walter. Well, they were right behind as they exited the hairpin at the end of the lap, so maybe Jamie missed a gear there because they certainly weren't side by side as they came out of the hairpin. Well, whatever, the places have changed, and if Ian McKellar has his way, the lead will change any moment as well. Again, he tries at Tower, gets a nudge for his pains from the race leader, Steve Guglielmi. Martin Short right there. Well, Short's perfectly positioned to pick up the pieces if it goes wrong between these two, but he's so close, he's likely to get involved as well, unless he's very fortunate. Guglielmi using all the road and a little bit more to stay ahead of Ian McKellar. Martin Short now with Mike Jordan closing right up behind him. Jamie Campbell-Walter dropped some way back after that problem, whatever it was. Guglielmi, McKellar locking wheels as they brake right on the extreme edges of adhesion. And then out of the hairpin they come, getting as much traction as possible to fight all the power of the TVR's V8 onto the track. More smoke from Guglielmi's car as he brakes into Clervaux. Through Hawthorne they go. And then heading up through the chicane, flying the cars off the curbs there. Here comes Grant Tromans, 9th, and Steve Cole in 10th. Race leader Steve Guglielmi under pressure again at Tower. This time, yes, he does just hold on from Ian McKellar, but every lap, McKellar gets further and further into a passing position. David Porter here, Bob Langley, and then position change as Richard Finney passes Jimmy Wilson-Petch. McKellar in 2nd place, Martin Short in 3rd, but for how long? Mike Jordan goes by him. Mistake from Short allows Jordan to slip up into 3rd place. And McKellar dropping off the back of Steve Guglielmi's car at the moment. Mike Jordan up to 3rd, Martin Short in 4th place. Bob Langley under pressure now from Richard Finney. Finney, the 36 machine, goes on the inside. They're battling for the honour of being last. Steve Guglielmi battled for the honour of being 1st and held on to claim victory from Ian McKellar. Mike Jordan in 3rd place ahead of Martin Short. Michael Caine, winner of the first qualifying heat at round 5 of the TVR Tuscan Challenge, takes his place on pole position for the 3rd instalment at Croft. Winner of the 2nd race, which was slightly slower, was Steve Guglielmi, so the men in his field lined on the outside of the grid. Behind Caine then, Phil Hindley, the man who finished 2nd to him, last year's championship winner, and behind Guglielmi, the man who finished 2nd to him, Ian McKellar, and so forth down the line. Well, the track now greasier than either of the previous races, but look at McKellar go from the outside right up against the pit wall. Oh my goodness, what fabulous traction he found, riding with Mike Jordan behind Steve Sutcliffe. But it's McKellar all the way into and out of the first turn. Remarkable getaway from the line by Ian McKellar from the outside of row 2 of the grid. Looking back from Steve Guglielmi on the outside of row 1, that's Mike Jordan, 77 behind him. Guglielmi had a dreadful getaway, dropped right back down the order. Mike Jordan started 6th, Guglielmi started 2nd. They shouldn't be close together, but they are. Guglielmi 6th and Jordan in 7th place as Ian McKellar leads them round. Well, a very big field here. Ben Samuelson, the TVR PR man, in the number 12 machine, and the boss of the company, Peter Wheeler, will be out in number 8. Martin Short there in 3rd place, haranguing Michael Caine in 2nd, and the leader, Ian McKellar. Jamie Campbell-Walter, the black machine there, right in the middle of the field, started in 14th place. McKellar leads Caine, Short 3rd. 4th place is Phil Hindley, the green car of Steve Sutcliffe in 5th place. There he is. 6th is Guglielmi in 6th position. And 7th is the number 77, Mike Jordan, with Grant Tromans chasing the number 5 machine of Colin Blower. Goes down the inside. Ooh, I think contact between the two of them there. Certainly Tromans going over the curbs and giving the car a good shaking. Colin Blower coming back at him there, pulling alongside as the leaders go through Clervaux. Let's see, Blower's on the inside, a spin ahead. Oh my goodness me, and a loose wheel. Well, there's Andy Britnell on the outside, and the wheel looked to be coming off Julian Locke's car as he turned in over the curbs. The wheel is broken. Now, whether that's a result of earlier contact or not is a little bit hard to tell. Martin Short goes down the inside of Phil Hindley, gets pushed round the corner. Hindley comes back at him, riding with Mike Jordan. Right behind that three-way battle, the green car you can see ducking and diving ahead is Short. Hindley behind him. And then right in front of us is Steve Guglielmi. Here comes the leader. And then the battle for 3rd place. Short's the green machine. Number 1, the white and black car is Hindley. Then the other white and black car is Guglielmi. Well, now, that was a confusing incident for Julian Locke there. He seems to be okay. Meanwhile, race leader comes towards us. Michael Caine chasing. Ian McKellar holding him off comfortably at the moment. Martin Short anything but comfortable in 3rd place. Hindley still right with him at the end of the lap, through the hairpin, push, 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 push. Back of Short's car gets damaged. Hindley second, Guglielmi third in this little group. Martin Short with his hand out to the cockpit. He's seen the black and yellow quartered flag. That means assume safety car situation. So Martin Short saw that first, and that's why, of course, because if the cars go off at Clairvaux or Hawthorne there, then they are going to hit the stationary machines. Previous lap back at Tower, looking back from Steve Guglielmi as Steve Sutcliffe gets it all wrong. Plenty of room there on the outside though, so he rejoins, having just lost the one place. Well, look at the back of Martin Short's car. Tyre smoke pouring off the damaged rear of it. Julian Locke's car being trailered away. Andy Britnell's already out of the way, and there is the sheared wheel. Quite a bizarre one there. Well, ready to go again as Ian McKellar blasts out of the final turn. Restarts here at Croft always favour the leader because of the tight hairpin that leads onto the main straight. So McKellar leads from Kane. Martin Short third, but for how long I wonder, from Hindley, Guglielmi, Jordan, Sutcliffe. Then number 4, the burgundy and white car of Troy Dunlop ahead of the black 28 machine of Jamie Campbell-Walter. Campbell-Walter makes a move exiting Hawthorne, and into the chicane he has that place. McKellar first, Kane second, Short third, Hindley fourth, Guglielmi fifth, Jordan sixth. 7th place, the green car there of Sutcliffe. 8th now, Campbell-Walter. 9th, Troy Dunlop. And the gaps among the leaders starting to stretch a little, courtesy largely of that restart. Martin Short not yet under the pressure he was before, but oh my goodness me! Ed Sharp losing it there, getting completely out of shape. Strikes the barriers as well. Oh dear, and that's the end of his steering. So Ed Sharp out of the race, and he'll be lucky if he can guide that off the racetrack. I think he has damaged the front end very substantially. Yes, look, it's turning sharp left on the left-hand side, whether he wants it to or not. Phil Hindley there, 3rd place, trying to go around the outside of Martin Short. One thing Martin Short does know, it's